Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
A transfer of rulership is coming, and the kingdom of heaven will be on earth. Righteousness will be spread throughout the whole four corners of the earth. Wickedness will be put down.
Consider the lilies, how they grow. They toil not, they spin not. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. If then God so clothe the grass which is today in the field and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? And seek not ye what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, neither be ye of doubtful mind. For all these things do the nations of the world seek after, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have, and give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
According to the Holy Scriptures, Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Most High, is set to bring immortality to the nation of Israel, the elect, via establishing the tabernacle of David, as we talk about the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He is coming to take down this current world ruled by Esau, Edom, and establish a righteous kingdom, which is synonymous with the throne of David. That's scriptural, which is a government that's going to run this world in righteousness.
All right, you got it, Tyler.
All right. First and foremost, let y'all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Bakakwadash, and double supposite GMS. Citation to your brother, push word of truth, and sincere four corners. GMS Mississippi Camp. And I'm gonna let your brother take over. You got it, bro.
All right. So just so going into another week. All right. Our Monday lesson. And just going into the topic of America is not immune to collapse. All right. And what we're seeing happening with America, all right, is something that we've seen before, all right, with different Edomite empires. Okay, so the brother Lamad, all right, beloved brother Lamad got a video in the lesson, that we're going to go into, to showcase, all right, that Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, all right, has America set up, for failure. All right, and this is nothing new that we're seeing. It's just a new empire, but the same fall. Okay, so we're gonna get straight into this precept, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9, and we're gonna read it in the NLT. We'll segue to the video. Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters are edified. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. It said, history merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. You got it, bro.
So history, like I said, merely repeats itself. And that's why there's a thing called reincarnation. Because, you come, you're born, you die, you go back to the spirit world, see your judgment, and it's a cycle, And it's just like the kingdoms. Kingdoms come and kingdoms go. But as time progresses, time changes. But it's these same kingdoms. Because you look at America, you see the architecture, you know what I'm saying, of these different empires that still stand today. Even with America, they have the eagle, which goes back to the Roman Empire. You see all these different pillars. You see these colleges, they got Greek sororities. You know, you see how these armies are. It's just a repeating cycle of past times that's coming back to modern days, man. You know, and just like in Daniel the second chapter, I think the second chapter goes into how the Lord removed kings and he set up kings. So a king runs a kingdom. So it's these same kings and empires and kingdoms coming back, man. And with these kingdoms coming back, and as they did in the past, how they fell, you know, or their kingdom came to its end, we're seeing the patterns in America, aka Babylon, which is pretty much America, pretty much all these kingdoms all in one. But we're watching and witnessing the reincarnation of all these different empires in America that's going down that same path where this city, this kingdom is about to collapse. And there's nothing new on the sun. The scripture says it's like same donkey, different saddle. It's just a different time, but it's the same concept of rulership that's being run by wickedness that eventually runs into the ground. And it's all the judgment. How about Shem Yahushua?
Come, bro.
Sorry, good, bro.
And so what we're gonna come, bro. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna segue to the video. Yom you had a precept or a point you wanted to make before we get to that video?
Nah, bro, you got it.
Okay, come. Tazwan, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Okay, come. I'm finna segue. Let's see. So yeah, we're gonna go into this video, and I'm just gonna show you the pattern, you know, that these empires go through. And see, all these are Edomite empires. And one thing about Esau, you know, he traps himself with his own ambition. You know, the scriptures say his eyes stand out for fatness. You know, he always wants to go above and beyond. You know, here it is, he's in power, but he still live above his means. Okay, show you that Esau was the original nigga. Okay, and Shalom to you, brother. Nah, you know, Yahbashima Shabrakata. So yeah, let's get this. You know, so yeah, we're gonna play this and then we're gonna jump, bro.
There's a pattern that has destroyed every major empire in history. Not conquest, not invasion, not revolution. Economic collapse. Specifically, currency collapse. And it happens the exact same way every single time. Rome, the empire that ruled the known world for 5 centuries, collapsed when its currency became worthless. Spain, which controlled more gold and silver than any nation in history, went bankrupt repeatedly until its empire dissolved. Britain, which dominated global trade for 200 years, lost its empire within a decade after its currency collapsed. 4 times in recorded history, a dominant empire has followed this exact pattern. Military overextension, unsustainable spending, currency debasement or money printing, inflation, loss of confidence, collapse. And every time, the people in power believed they were different, that their empire was special, that the old rules didn't apply to them. They were wrong, every single time. And right now in 2025, the United States is following that exact same pattern. Step by step, warning sign by warning sign. The only question is whether we're near the beginning, the middle, or the end. This is the story of how empires destroy themselves through their own currency, how it happened to Rome, Spain, and Britain, and why every warning sign says it's happening again. Let's start with Rome, the empire that dominated Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East for over 500 years. At its peak, Rome controlled 60 million people across 3 continents. Its military was unmatched. Its infrastructure was the most advanced on Earth. Its currency, the denarius, was trusted everywhere, from Britain to Egypt. The denarius was a silver coin introduced in 211 BC. It contained about 4.5 grams of pure silver. For centuries, it held its value because the Roman government maintained its purity. When you received a denarius, you knew exactly what you were getting. Pure silver, real value. This created trust, and trust allowed Rome to fund its expansion, pay its soldiers, and build its infrastructure. But empires are expensive. Every generation, Rome's borders expanded. Every expansion required more soldiers, more forts, more roads, more administration. And eventually, more money than Rome actually had. So they did what every empire does when it spends more than it earns. They debased the currency. Emperor Nero, ruling from 54 to 68 AD, was the first to significantly reduce the silver content of the denarius. He needed to fund his lavish lifestyle and expensive military campaigns, so he ordered the mints to reduce the silver content from 100% to 90%. That extra 10%, pure profit for the emperor. He could mint 11 coins with the silver that used to make 10, more coins in circulation. Same amount of silver, that's inflation. But 90% silver was still substantial. The real destruction came later. By the time Emperor Caracalla ruled in 211 AD, the denarius was down to 50% silver, half real value, half base metal. By 265 AD, under Emperor Gallienus, it had fallen to just 5% silver. A coin that was once pure silver was now 95% worthless metal with a thin silver coating. Think about what that means. If you were a Roman soldier in 265 AD receiving your pay in denarii, you were being paid in coins worth 1/20th of what soldiers earned 2 centuries earlier. The government told you nothing had changed. The coins still said denarius. They still had the emperor's face, but the purchasing power had collapsed. Prices exploded. What cost 1 denarius in 200 AD cost 50 denarii by 300 AD. Farmers stopped selling food for coins and demanded barter instead. Soldiers refused to fight unless paid in gold or goods. Tax collectors couldn't collect taxes because the currency was worthless. The entire economic system seized up. And here's the key. This wasn't caused by foreign invasion. Rome's borders were still defended. This wasn't caused by plague or natural disaster. This was self-inflicted. The Roman government destroyed its own currency to fund spending it couldn't afford. And when the currency died, the empire died with it. By 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire officially collapsed. Not because Germanic tribes were stronger, but because Rome couldn't pay its armies anymore, couldn't fund its administration, couldn't maintain its infrastructure. The currency had been debased into irrelevance, and everything built on that currency collapsed. The pattern: military expansion, unsustainable spending, currency debasement, inflation, loss of economic function, collapse. Rome proved the pattern, and every empire since has repeated it. Now let's jump forward 12 centuries.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump ahead to the 11-minute and 50-second mark, you know. But what you see with Rome is you see Rome is doing what America is doing today. Rome did what America is doing today, which is they overprinted the money, you know, so they started printing more coins than they had actual silver. So they devalued the currency, you know, which this is what we're seeing today with America, you know, which the brother, he was speaking on that in the chat, you know, speaking about how America is in the process of overprinting, you know, which it devalues the dollar, destroys the spending power of the dollar, and the only thing left, you know, for the dollar is collapse, you know. You wanted to speak on that on Lamont before we played America, or you want to let it play?
Oh, come on, bro. You're right. It's just that, you know, America has been constantly printing this money, man. And it is nothing but fiat. Okay. It's fake money. It's backed up by broken promises and lies. That's why they left the gold standard, man. What was it? Was it Nixon?
Yeah, Nixon,
who cut off the gold standard, man, because, you know, he didn't want to be giving up all that gold, man. So now the predicament is the Federal Reserve notes, which are bagged by nothing, is coming to its end. I mean, it's still, and the reason it held as much weight as it did by these elite making it the primary currency to buy oil. You know, that's what really made it carry so much weight. But all the other countries, especially when it comes to BRICS, are getting ready to push more towards that gold standard. And of course, we know it's going to go to that digital currency. But America don't have that influence of that threat of power now. So these other countries are coming together to try to come up with a different currency. That's it, bro.
So you want to go ahead and let it play, bro? Come on, I'm gonna let it play, and then we'll jump back into the precepts.
The current empire, the current reserve currency, and every single warning sign that destroyed Rome, Spain, and Britain is flashing red. Let's start with the currency. The US dollar has been the world's reserve currency since 1944. After World War II, the Bretton Woods system made the dollar the global standard. It was backed by gold, $35 per ounce. Other nations pegged their currencies to the dollar, and the dollar was as good as gold, literally. But just like Rome, just like Britain, the United States started spending more than it had. The Vietnam War, the Great Society programs, military bases around the world. By the 1960s, foreign governments noticed that America was printing more dollars than it had gold to back them. France, under Charles de Gaulle, started demanding gold in exchange for dollars. Other nations followed. The gold was leaving Fort Knox. The bluff was being called. In 1971, President Nixon closed the gold window. No more gold backing. The dollar became a pure fiat currency, just like the debased Roman denarius, just like the pound after 1931, backed by nothing but trust and the government's promise. At first, it seemed fine. The petrodollar system, established in the 1970s, created artificial demand for dollars because oil was priced in dollars globally. But the spending never stopped. The debt kept growing. In 1980, U.S. national debt was $900 billion. By 2000, it was $5.6 trillion. By 2020, it was $27 trillion. Today, in 2025, it's over $36 trillion. That's a 40-fold increase in 45 years. And it's accelerating. But the debt is only part of the story. Like Rome debasing the denarius, like Spain flooding the world with silver, the United States is printing money. Since 2008, the Federal Reserve has created trillions of dollars from nothing. Quantitative easing, they call it, necessary to stabilize the economy. During COVID, they printed over $4 trillion in 2 years. More money created than in the previous century combined. And just like every empire before, they told us it wouldn't cause inflation, that modern economics had solved the old problems, that we were different. We're not. Inflation hit 9% in 2022. Real inflation, the prices you actually pay for food, housing, healthcare, is far higher. The dollar is being debased, slowly at first, but the pattern always accelerates. And just like Britain, the United States is losing reserve currency status. In 2000, over 70% of global reserves were held in dollars. Today, it's 58% and falling. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and new members, are actively building alternatives. They're trading in local currencies, creating new payment systems, reducing dollar dependence. China and Russia are buying gold aggressively. Central banks worldwide are diversifying out of dollars. The world is preparing for the dollar to lose its dominance, just like they prepared for the pound to fall. The pattern is unmistakable. And here's the most dangerous part. The United States has the same problem Rome had: military overextension. The U.S. maintains nearly 800 military bases in over 70 countries. The defense budget is over $800 billion annually. Wars in Iraq and Afghanistan cost over $8 trillion. The empire is expensive. And it's being funded with debt and printed money. Just like Rome couldn't pay its legions in debased coins. Just like Spain couldn't fund its military after repeated defaults. Just like Britain couldn't maintain its empire after currency collapse. The United States is running out of time. So let's identify the pattern. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every empire that has collapsed economically followed the same sequence. Not similar, identical. Stage 1, dominance. The empire is at its peak. Military strength, economic power, currency trust. Rome with the denarius, Spain with the dollar, Britain with the pound, America with the dollar. At this stage, the currency is backed by something real: gold, silver, trust built over generations. The empire seems invincible. Stage 2, overextension. The empire expands beyond its means. More territory, more military commitments, more promises to citizens. Rome expanded across 3 continents. Spain tried to control every ocean. Britain colonized a quarter of the world. America maintains bases on every continent. The costs become unsustainable. Stage 3, deficit spending. The empire spends more than it earns. At first, this is manageable. They borrow, they issue bonds, they promise to repay, but the deficits become structural, permanent. Rome needed to pay its legions. Spain needed to fund its wars. Britain needed to finance 2 world wars. America runs trillion-dollar deficits annually, even during growth. Stage 4, currency debasement. The empire can't borrow enough, can't tax enough, so they debase the currency. Rome reduced silver in the denarius. Spain flooded the market with silver, causing inflation. Britain abandoned gold and devalued the pound twice. America left gold in 1971 and has been printing ever since. Stage 5, inflation. More currency with the same amount of real goods means prices rise. Rome saw prices increase 50-fold. Spain experienced price inflation across Europe. Britain saw 25% inflation in the 1970s. America is experiencing inflation now, despite government claims it's transitory. Stage 6, loss of confidence. The domestic population and foreign nations lose trust in the currency. Roman soldiers demanded payment in gold, not denarii. Spanish creditors refused to lend after multiple defaults. The world shifted from pounds to dollars at Bretton Woods. Today, nations are shifting away from the dollar. Stage 7, collapse. The economic system fails. The currency becomes worthless or loses its dominance. The empire can't fund its military, can't maintain control. Rome fell to Germanic tribes it could no longer pay to fight. Spain declined into irrelevance. Britain lost its empire within decades. And the US? That's the question we're living through right now. That's the pattern. 7 stages, repeated 4 times across 2,000 years. Different empires, different continents, different currencies, but the exact same sequence. Because
Yep. So, this America, what we're seeing now with the American economy, it's in stage 7, of the collapse, because the inflation is here. No one trusts America. That's why they're making these other blocks, these economic blocks to where they're trading and doing business outside the dollar, so the trust is gone. The inflation is here, and now it's just a collapse. That's the only phase left for America is collapse, So y'all brothers had any precepts?
Bro, you can get the book of James, chapter 5, in the NLT, verses 1, 2, and 3.
Said book of James, chapter 5.
Verses 1, 2, and 3 in the NLT.
You got it, bro.
This is the book of James, chapter 5, starting at verse 1. Look here, you rich people, weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Your wealth is rotting away, and your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold,
right? So you see people, man, even people who 10, 11, 12, 15 years ago was in good financial shape, are now feeling the inflations. They're feeling the squeeze of what this government, who's led by these devils, are doing, man. So their money is dwindling away. $100,000 in your account 20 years ago, man, was like some substance. But now 100,000 is really damn near equivalent maybe to 20,000. It's really nothing, because the bills have increased so much, man, that an apartment that you could have rented, a 2-bedroom apartment back in 2005 in the city, man, will run you 800, 900 square feet, run you probably about $700-800, man, a month. But that same apartment now is going to cost you about anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 a month, if not better. So your mortgage is going up, the electric bills are going up, the food is going up, and the value of money is decreasing. So these people who have been in just the good standing financially are now feeling this squeeze, man. And like I say, that money is just dwindling away. And I think what you had mentioned, Priest Josh, about now, it's called the upper poor, the upper class poor. The middle class is gone. So you just got, the 1% in the straight poor, man. So this money now, this monetary system, along with this society, we're watching it corrode, decay, and collapse. And the people are feeling it, and that's why you see all these people crashing out, on their phones and everything, or you having a conversation with people. Everybody is feeling it, man. You got it, bro.
Verse 3, it says, your gold and silver have both have become worthless. The very
right. And real quick, bro, and he said that in the video, how saying the money has started becoming worthless, man, because Rome was putting cutting the money so much, the coins, where the denarius came to nothing pretty much, putting all these mixed metals in it. So that's canker, man. Meaning it's becoming worthless, making more coins than they had actually had the real finances for, because the coin wasn't worth nothing. Just like America and these mints, they are constantly printing money, which causing inflation. But all this money is just floating around, so everything is going to skyrocket. So the money is becoming less. That's why you got you got the inflation and you got shrinkflation, man, because you're paying a lot more for less product or less necessities of what you're getting. I had opened up a pack of tissue one day, man, and the rolls, it's like a regular roll had been cut in half. I'm like, what the hell is this? So it's gonna be more and more that, man, people are gonna get shortchanged. Certain thing they're gonna buy, they're gonna notice they get home and start opening it, man. But everything is following that path of an empire that's about to collapse.
Mm-hmm.
You got it, bro.
Bro, and I looked up something for you too. I got to back you up on that one. I finished reading it for you. Finished reading the precept. It says I'm gonna start from the top of 3. It says your gold and silver have become worthless. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. This treasure you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment.
Right. Because, these people are trusting in their wealth. They're trusting in their monetary systems. Okay. They're trusting in their 401k, their pension, all this stuff, man.
Well,
but this
talking about the elites. Yeah.
Okay. Salaki.
Because the elites, they give us, this worthless fake money, but they got the real resources. So all the resources they got, but then they got all this fake money out here with circulation. Well, the real resources, they don't hoard it up to themselves. That's going to be evidence against them in the day of judgment, that they ran the kingdom with unfair balances. Like the scriptures say, unfair balances is abomination to the Lord. So these resources that they got hoarded up, is evidence against them that they've been pushing out all this fake wealth, these currencies, and now they want to go to a digital currency, which is nothing else. That's even more useless, worthless wealth, currency. But the elites, the ones that accumulate all the resources, and that's going to be evidence against them in the day of judgment.
What?
No, you good, bro. You got it, bro. That was it on it.
That was it on that one. I had something for him too.
You had something? You talking about what you got over here in the chat?
It go into that, and then it goes into actually breaking down, just summing up. I'm mixing the penny, the nickel, and the coins.
Oh yeah. Young Yah, you had a precept. We might get to it. You got that precept, Young Yah?
No, I had Jeremiah 50, 51 and 7 through 9.
Jeremiah 51.
But I wanted to elaborate on how it was saying how Rome, it got to a point where it couldn't even pay its soldiers. So you got military active duty soldiers that are basically on furlough also, man. And shit, they just going to work and not let it be a 2-family household. That's these federal workers they hurting as well, man. Their bank accounts and they're getting deleted. All that shit is getting depleted. Just like Rome, how he did like he did his soldiers, even going back into his coins, because I know coins was made of pure silver. Then they got the 90%, then it started going down to the 60%. And then ultimately they just took that shit off the market and gave you worthless, materials, compared to the silver and gold. The zinc, the mercury. But yeah, bro, you got it.
My brother he gonna get into it. He gonna get into that too. Real quick, just a bag of what you're saying about the soldiers. So I just asked it real quick on the AI overview. It says, yes, the military is a risk of not getting paid during the government shutdown due to lapse in funding from Congress. This can happen because military personnel are considered essential, employees who are required to work without pay. While the Trump administration has used funds from the Defense Department budget to make some paycheck, these are temporary solutions that may not be sustainable. The lack of consistent pay can cause significant financial stress and anxiety for service members and their families. Just a bag of what you were saying, bro.
Yeah, so that's that bank question.
And you can bring that out about the coin.
You want me to
I'm
bring
just
out
saying,
that?
you make your point, but after that, the brother. Yeah, after the brother finish your point, you finish your point, bro, and then we'll bring that out about the coin. Then we'll get that Jeremiah.
I mean, that was basically the point. How it's affected even the soldiers. Who's on the front line for this so-called country, man. But the elite bankers want to just go into how this is a controlled crash. They building like you said, they have heaped up the true wealth, but they giving the people worthless money.
Hey,
Bro.
I got it. Can I get a quick precept? The bag of yum just going into the soldiers that might not get paid and everything. Sirach 26 and 28.
Says Sirach 26 and what, bro?
Verse 28.
You got it, bro.
God, this is the book of Sirach or Ecclesiastes, chapter 30, right?
26 verse 28.
26.
Okay. Come on, this is like 26 and 28. It says, and there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry, a man of war that suffers poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and not and one that runneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord Yahweh Shema Shai prepared such in one for the sword.
But the point was a man of war that suffereth poverty. Because how you gonna have these men, on the front lines fighting your wars, and then you can't pay them, or it's more homeless veterans in America than should be at all, man. Missing limbs, living on the streets, and that's like and a lot of them be Jakes who done been to war, lost limbs. The Agent Orange affected a lot of them older guys that was in Numb, and a lot of these men are in poverty, have died in poverty. And then when they try to go get, the brother, now I know you what it's called when they try to get that 100% or a certain percentage when they
disability
leave the service.
Service connected disability.
Con. You know, they have to go through the ringers to get that, man. I done talked to guys that take them 2, 3, 4, 5 years or better, man, because they don't want to give those men of war their due benefits they own. But this is what happens when you under the rulership of a devil, man, because a man of war is supposed to receive spoils, man. When the ancient day of men went out to war, they conquered the area, they got spoils, man, which would be their pay when they go back home. But a lot of these veterans now, man, they just suffering, man. But that was the point, bro.
Come, bro. You can bring that out what you had out now about the coins, and then we get that in Jeremiah 51:7.
Con, did somebody already get that dude out of there, bro? I was trying to do. I think somebody already got it.
Yeah.
Okay, Con.
Yeah.
Con, it was a quick Google search. It says, "Are U.S. coins made of pure metals?" You know, going to the video and what the brothers have been bringing out. I'm gonna summarize it up. It says, "No, modern circulating U.S. coins are not made of pure metals, but are instead made from alloys or layered metals." All right, and I'm just gonna jump straight down. It says the current penny has pure zinc core and a layer of copper plated over it. The nickel, this coin is made up of alloy, which is 75% copper and 25% nickel. The dime, the quarter, and the $half, these are clad coins. And I looked up clad coins. Clad coins is a sandwich of different metals, which the center metal being maybe the metal that it's supposed to use, but it's a clad coin with the core of pure copper and the outer skin of copper and nickel alloy. And the dollar coin is a composition of dollar. The composition of dollar coins varies, but the modern versions are also made from all alloys and not pure metals. So none of these coins are made up of the pure metals, which goes back to the points that the brothers have been bringing out, how the U.S. is on that. We was talking about the 7 stages. The U.S. is on. They've already checked off all of them. So we're in that last stage right now of this currency completely collapsing. You got it, bro.
Come on, bro. You can get that for the brother in Jeremiah. We can start at 7.
Come on, bro.
Come on, this is Jeremiah chapter 51. Say again, bro.
Nah, you got it.
Come on, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Yep, all this influence of that America has basically it has in the earth, man. You know, this westernization is so-called freedoms. You know, everything that this place pushes, man. It made the brothers always bring it out how it's like this is like a cheap wine, you know, that this place pushes, man, because for one, it ain't pure. And going back into this monetary system, here it is. If you messing with the money and you give them, they basically stealing, you know, they basically thieving, and they're not paying their people, you know, just due. But you got it, bro. It says, start back from the beginning.
Con, I got you. This is verse 7 again, Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
So even the Lord allowed this man to get to this point to where it's building up. He's building up everything, like the brother went into. When everything gonna be found in his hand. This devil, he's gonna be caught with everything, you know, and it's gonna justify the anger that Yahweh Shem Shai got for this man. You know, all the indignation that he's gonna bring upon this man. I mean, this is what the wicked have been made to do. You know, he's been made for their destruction. So he gonna only just do that. He gonna repeat his cycle. Again, like the initial precept came out. You know, ain't nothing new under the sun. So this man, he's only gonna follow his tail all the way until he's subdued.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. Verse 8.
You got read, bro.
Yeah, verse 8.
This is verse 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed.
Yeah, so this place, but she's not going to be healed. You know, these nations, they want this place to be fixed and all because they rely on America's currency as well. You know, because America's this is the currency of the earth. But hey, this place it's not gonna be healed, man. You can try to patch the shit up, but again, this is a controlled demolition, and it's the Lord really controlling it. The Lord is controlling the downfall of these Edomites, these elite bankers. He put it on their spirits to crash their own economy, just to usher in that point of what the pushing the MOTB. You got it.
Real quick, if I can add, because they try to heal, going to trying to heal Babylon, because even now, you got Trump, now they pushing these tariff checks, these $2,000 checks they supposed to send to every, citizen, but even that's going to make it worse. Like everything that they can try to do to fix it, they have this thing where the feds, lower the interest rate, or increase the interest rate, try to balance out the inflation. Well, it's to the point now where it's running, the inflation finna become runaway inflation, so ain't fixing the system, and the system, all right, wasn't the system ain't broke, it just rigged against the poor. The system ain't broke, it just rigged against the poor. It's working exactly how it's supposed to work. You say now it's just getting to the point they done ran into the ground and they own to something else. The elites are done with America. So they're not, the Congress, the Republicans and Democrats are not, all right, sitting and debating, for hours about what they need to do to fix the economy. The economy through, okay, and then the Congress, the Senate, the House, these government officials, they're wealthy. Hell, they capitalize off the stock market. Okay, they're not, like Scripture say, they're not in trouble as other men. Okay, 7% inflation don't hurt them. 8% inflation don't hurt them. They hurt the poor, people with less disposable income. So, yeah, you people think, because even if Trump sent out the $2,000 checks, people are going to think that that's a step, all right, in the right direction, man. Nah, man, it's just going to create more inflation, all right, and it's going to expedite the inevitable, which is a collapse. What you got, bro?
Let me get verse 9, bro.
You want the 9 too?
I think the point was made with that one, bro.
Okay, come.
Mm-hmm. You had some Tyler one?
Yeah, I got some, bro. Just real quick, Ecclesiastes 3:1 and 2.
Ecclesiastes
3. Yeah.
All right, you got it, bro.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, starting at verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted.
That's it. And this place about get plucked up. This place about the, like, when you plant stuff and it come to a season, you kind of pluck it. And in this place, it is in. So it about to get plucked up. All right. Because this place is like, I asked ChatGPT what was 5 things when we tell economy falling. It said money, moralities, the infrastructures. It said all the stuff that the brother and they're talking about the political beefing. That's in there too, man. And this place is on the way out, man. And it's beautiful. This place go out, then Lord bring his kingdom. But this place finished, man. Like the video, like the last stage, and it's a beautiful thing to see our enemy fall, man. All right, but it's all I got, brothers.
Come. Yeah, Lamar, you had some closing precept?
Come, bro. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19 to 21.
You said Matthew chapter 6.
Verses 19, 20, and 21.
All right. You got it, bro.
This book of Matthew chapter 6, starting at verse 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Because that's why being in this truth and being rooted is so important, man. Because a savings account ain't gonna protect you in these evil times that's coming. You know, having a bunch of supplies, you know, to try to get through, having a stock build up, you know, that's not gonna do it, man. That's gonna put a target in your back. People can come in your home and take what you have. You know, it's all about being rooted in this truth and leaning on Yahweh Shai and trusting Yahweh Shai, man. Because if you're all entangled and have this faith and hope that your money is going to save you or the society is going to get back on track, and you know, America is going to become this great nation again, then when this collapse happens, you're going to be one of the ones who completely go ape shit and lose it. Because you are putting your trust in a sinking ship, and the people should be seeing that this place is on its way out, man. You know, it's evident just looking at the things that are happening, and if people can't recognize that and see that, and it's just gonna be a part of the Lord's judgment on their heads. You got it, bro.
You may keep reading, or you just want to stop at 21?
No. Yeah, that was it, bro. I thought Brother Yash was gonna make a point.
Okay, it's a lot.
Nah, I'm gonna get this precept from the brother on the comment board. It's the brother Bayan Yasha'Allah, Sirach 34 and 13 and 14. It says, the spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live. All right. It says, for their hope is in him that saveth them. Verse 14, whoso feareth the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid, for he is his hope. Blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord, to whom doth he look, and who is his strength. You know, so yeah, see the point being made, and at the end of the day, this shit finna collapse. You know, and you know you can't depend on nothing on this side for deliverance. You know, just laying back and on what the brother Lamar was said. If you're dependent on the government, you know, you're dependent on this. You know, whether you're dependent on food stamps or whether you're dependent on an NFL contract, at the end of the day, all this shit finna collapse. The devil finna reset the whole system, and then the Lord gonna destroy him in the midst of him resetting the system. So if you're not in good standings with Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, the things that you can have on this side ain't gonna be a defense. You know, only the Lord, you know, and his mercy gonna be a defense in this time, you know. But that's all I had, y'all brothers good.
Good.
Right. Well, with that, you know, we pray that you brothers, all right, and you sisters identify once again. We want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations, hopefully, shalom.
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 Shalom.